Hey, what's going on, guys? Treveal C.W. Lynch, Mr. What? I am your self-worth specialist. Welcome once again into the iAMthepossible universe. Today, guys, I want to talk to you about disappointment. I don't know about you, but there's been times where I have been disappointed. Disappointed in God, in myself, in other people. But today I want to speak specifically to those moments in life when we're discouraged, we're just deflated, disheartened, we're just let down emotionally in our relationship with God. And I want to just offer a quick perspective that I think might just encourage you today, because sometimes that's all we need is just a quick encouragement, right? Sometimes we don't need all the answers. We don't need to figure it all out. We just need just that boost of encouragement, and it can help us just get through another day, right? Sometimes we just need to get through today. So I just want to share something really quickly with you that, I experienced, and then what the Lord shared with me that I feel I should share with you this morning. If you're in that space where you're disappointed, kind of let down in your relationship with God. So yesterday, I had an event that I was a part of, and it got me on the highest of highs. It was just an amazing moment, an amazing time. I was on the highest of highs, and I was sharing with my family, with my friends, with church members. It was just a great time. It was a Martin Luther King event that I was a part of. I was asked to be a keynote speaker for, and I shared a message, and I got great feedback, and I felt like a lot of people connected with the message. A lot of people resonated with the message. I had a lot of people come up to me and share their own stories and share how the message touched them. And, we took pictures, and it was just a great moment. Now, I won't go into any details. I won't share names in terms of the backside, right? Because I was at the highest of heights. And then later on in that day, I found myself in the lowest of lows. I had myself, or I had some conversations with some people, and they got a little negative, right? Just the information that I got back, the information that was shared with me, and it caused me to kind of spiral down a little bit, be a little deflated. And there were some other things. Again, I won't share them because you never know who's listening, and because I'm not a smear, gossipy, platform. I'm not here to out anyone or to put dirt on anyone's name. But let me just say, I had conversations that caused me to feel some type of way, and I had some things happen that made me feel pretty deflated. And so I'm speaking from experience, right? I don't know if you've ever been there, highest of heights and boom, lowest of lows. And this morning, as I woke up, I remembered what the Lord said in Acts chapter 10. I want to read from Acts chapter 10 this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening, whenever you're watching this, just to share just a word of encouragement. Because in these moments of disappointment, you can feel like you got your hopes up. You can feel like you went all in on a situation. You went all in for God, as we like to say. We like you gave it your all, like I gave it my all yesterday. You did so much. You gave it everything you had, and you had these expectations. You had these projections. You had these outcomes that you desired and that you thought you were going to see and that you thought you saw. And then you receive some other information, or some other things may happen. And we're human. We're walking by faith, not by sight, but we're human. And the part of the human element is that we do get sidetracked by our sight. Things we see and hear, they do impact us and they do affect us. And that's just being real. Now, of course, with practice and with centering and with prayer and with reading of his word and with sacraments and all these other things, of course, we can regulate and we can get back on track. We can bounce back by God's mercy and by God's grace. Even in my, testimony, he got me back aligned this morning. So I'm not saying that you can't get back on track, that your energy can't be renewed. But I am here to say that if you're in a place where you're discouraged, you're let down, you're a little deflated because you expected God to do something in your life, or you expected something to happen in your life in a certain way, and it didn't work out that way. It didn't pan out that way. It didn't happen that way. I am here to tell you that God is still faithful, and God can still be trusted, and God is still worthy of the praise. And this is why, okay, as I read from Acts chapter 10, because the result of this can be us feeling like God's forgotten us. I don't know if you've ever felt that way, but you feel like God's forgotten. You feel like God's forgotten your effort. You feel like God's forgotten what you've done. Even though we know that he's done everything for us, we can still get in our emotions. We can still get in our humanity and feel like we've done something for God and that God owes us something, or we can feel like, hey man, look at my effort, look at what I've done, right? Things should work out a certain way. All of that is a part of our humanity, and it gets to the best of us, right? But I wanted to encourage you this morning, afternoon, this evening, whenever you're watching this, Acts chapter 10, and the Bible that I have with me, one side is the King James, one side is the Amplified version. For this particular scripture, I'm just going to kind of jump around some of the words because I don't really love either version, but I don't have my phone to be able to pull up the version that I do like. Okay, so just kind of bear with me, but the essence will still be there. But if you want to read along, you want to read it on your own, it's Acts chapter 10, the very first couple of verses here through number 4. Okay. So it says, now living at Caesarea, there was a man whose name was Cornelius. He was a centurion, a captain. He was known as he was the captain of a band called the Italian band. He was a devout man and one who feared God with all his house, which he gave much alms, or he gave money. He was generous. He gave of a lot of things to people, and he prayed to God always. He saw a vision one night in the 9th hour. It was an angel of God coming into him, or coming down to him, saying to him, Cornelius. And when he looked up at him, he was afraid, and he said, what is it, Lord? And he said unto him, thy prayers, or your prayers, and your alms, or your generosity to other people, it has come up as a memorial before God. Now, in the Amplified version, it says, and he, gazing intently at him, became afraid, and he said, what is it, Lord? And the angel of the Lord said to him, your prayers and your generosity, your generous gifts to the poor, they have come up as a sacrifice. And sacrifice to God, and have been remembered by him. They've been remembered by him. My encouragement to you today is to acknowledge the fact that we have these things called preferences. We prefer things to go a certain way. We prefer things to work out a certain way. We prefer things to happen at a certain time. We prefer things to unfold in a certain way. See, we are all caught up on, and some of us, it's very hard to admit it at times, but we're very into what we're into. I need this by this time, and I want this way. I don't know what it is for you. You name it, you frame it, you put it into your context. but there may be something that you're waiting for God for. Maybe there's a promise in your life. Maybe someone's prophesied to you. Maybe you've just had a conversation with God and he revealed something to you. There's something that you're expecting. There's something that you're waiting for. There's something that you desire of the Lord, and you've been patient, and you've been sowing, and you've been grinding, and you've been putting in the work. You've been doing the prayers as Cornelius, and you've been sacrificing as Cornelius. You've been doing your part, as we say. You've been sacrificing, giving, serving. You've been faithful in the things that you believe that God's called you to do. And then you have these moments like I had that moment on yesterday where you feel like certain things are happening or certain things are going to take place the way that you envision them to, when you envision them and how you envision them. And then there's some information that may come your way or just the reality of something just not happening in your time and in your way. And you can get discouraged. You can get down. You can start to doubt God. You can start to doubt God's love for you. You can start to doubt God's care for you. And all I wanted to do today was to share my story to let you know that you're not alone, that someone else feels that pain, someone else understands you, because sometimes we just need to know that someone understands us. And then secondly, I wanted to encourage you, even as I've been encouraged by this story. It reveals that God does not forget what you did over here, right? Remember, Cornelius had been serving God with his whole house. He had been praying. He had been giving. But at the time that he was praying and at the time that he was giving, the angel of the Lord didn't come. The Lord didn't do anything at that time. But God didn't forget. God remembers. And just like God remembered Cornelius, God remembers you. God remembers me. God remembers us. And because God is God, God's going to do it when God does it. And God's going to do it how God does it. My encouragement to you today, even as I'm encouraging myself in the Lord, let us do away with our projections and our preferences, and let us just enjoy the presence of God, knowing that God is a ever-present God. With us, for us, in us, through us, working something wonderful out. Let us lean into the fact that God is always available. Let us lean into the fact that we can enjoy the presence of the Lord, that we can enjoy the goodness of God at any time, anywhere. And as we wait upon those things that we want to see materialize and manifest, let us not wait for those things to happen, but let us begin now, because now is really all we have. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. All you truly have a hold of and all you can truly be responsible for is the here and the right now. So let's not wait until those things happen for us to get happy. Let us not wait for those things to materialize for us to begin to celebrate. Let us enjoy God for God, and let us trust and know that at the proper time, in the proper way, God's going to remember us too. God's going to remember us too. That is a part of our advantage in the world. We have a grace to be patient. We have a grace to wait. We have a grace, this thing called long suffering. We can be patient. We can wait. And we can keep our hope and our trust in the Lord. May you continue to do all that God has called you to do. May you continue to be faithful in the things that you know you ought to do. May you continue to be faithful in the gifts and the talents and the treasures and all of the many mysteries and revelations that God has blessed you with. May you continue to operate in those things. May you continue to walk by faith, not by sight. May you continue to surrender your life to God. May you continue to be faithful in loving and caring for others. May you continue to be faithful in prayer. May you continue to do the things that you know are right for you to do, regardless of the timing, regardless of how it shows up. Just keep doing what you know you ought to do. And at the proper time, even as other scriptures reveal. It's going to happen. It's going to happen for you. It's going to happen for me. And it's okay to admit that you're discouraged. It's okay to admit that you're a little deflated. It's okay to admit that you're a little down. It's okay to admit that. And it's okay to be that way. Because of what I've discovered in closing is that when you are that honest with yourself, you are that genuine with yourself, you are that sincere with yourself, and you're that honest and sincere and genuine with God, and you allow those emotions to be, and you allow yourself to be in that space. You don't pretend, you don't put on airs, you don't act like it's not there. You are really real with yourself and with God, and you're just saying, hey man, this is really how I feel. This is really where I'm at, and this really hurts, and I'm really suffering. That is the opportunity that God takes to lift you up, to mount you up again, even as scriptures say, with wings like eagles. Yeah, he renews your strength and he reveals his word to you, even as he renewed my strength and revealed his word to me. So may you be blessed. May you be encouraged, even as I've been blessed and I've been encouraged. I love you guys. I'm praying for you guys. I'm believing in you guys. Until next time, please, let's continue to unlearn our limits and be your possible. Love.